back to the rising priority that we were talking about in the first game. Just a really general pick that can go with things like the Senate, can obviously be paired with the Smolder, is going to work really well at finding engages on this immobile AD carry like Bars.
What I love is RA are holistically focusing a lot of the very heavy comfort champions of AL and vice versa for RA. There's a lot of champions, at least for anyone's legend, that they've just played a ton of. The Udyr for Hery, the Zir that's no longer available for Shanks, as well as the Lucian for Hope. But they will have to go with a little bit of a different angle here as we get the Smolder locked in. The Nautilus, a very good combo with that one, but that does leave the Xin Zhao open for Naiyou.
Exactly, bringing the early aggression, able to go for those ganks. You have your ultimate, which is, great at denying any of the damage that he can put out onto you. And now rounding it out with the Renata as well. So wanting to make it so that Kael isn't going to have an easy time finding those engages with the Nautilus.
It's not as easy to make, but he still can make it happen. I also like the Jax pickup for Hery. First and foremost, a lot of side lane pressure, but I want to see what he can do with that in the lane against Xiaoxu. As we get in the second phase, the Renekton is the ban, so trying to take away some of those Jax matchups.
Yeah, so wanting to make sure that the aggression can't exactly be there. In terms of top, it's kind of funny, because we have finally started to see K'Sante kind of falling out of favor a little bit right when we turned on to 14.4, teams weren't doing that. Things like the Aatrox really rising in priority. Renekton and Jace rising priority in terms of bans, but not really being able to see either champion come out onto the Rift.
Yeah. I think last week, it literally was a tale of, teams are still learning 14.4. Let's go with what we know is okay and go with things that we know were good on 14.2 and that can still be viable. This week, I feel like we're starting to finally get some of that flexing of the muscles that 14.4 has wrought across the globe. I've been loving it, as well as now that Azir is gone. We don't have to worry about that matchup, I guess. The Aatrox is locked in for anyone's legend, so they'll actually have some interesting flexibility where they draft right now.
Yeah, now going to probably look for the K'Sante to lock in, bring that one up. Again, AL flex Jax to the jungle, which is a great call. Does amazingly into the Xin Zhao with that counter-strike. Now, RA for their last pick. It's about what do you put Vicla on. They banned out the Talia themselves. Things like the Nico still available. Akali would be pretty nice. Just having more threat onto the backline axis of the Smolder isn't something I hate the idea of, but it seems like they just want to round out with being able to have some presence in that mid lane matchup and be able to play out with just all the absurd damage that this champion puts out.
And I think Vicla, had a pretty good series at start, at least on the way as we got into team fights and things. A lot of good positioning, a lot of really good spiraling despairs. So trying to capitalize on that with maybe a more team-oriented composition. And still with Naiyou at the helm, it feels like, for the early game here. But I'm more curious. Now we get the Orianna for Shanks, another classic for him. But man, there has to be a strategy to deal with Hope on the Smolder and the scaling, the strength in team fights that anyone legend is going to have.
Yeah, I want to see a lot of attention given to bot this game. Like, shut down Hope and Kael, get your bot lane going. You have a strong presence with the Xin Zhao. You have double range, which should at least be able to bully out really well from level 1 in those first 2 levels. Give time for the Xin Zhao to make it down, and then start looking to just find dominance around this bot lane.
Love to see the coach there get some physical movements in there. Go get him! As I think this is an opportunity for anyone's legend. Again, an important one, a pressure-filled one, to move to 8-3, to put themselves in the conversation of the top spots of the LPL, which they have been shockingly so far this year, still in that conversation. And I think these are the games that are most important because there are a lot of big games coming up in this single round robin finish. And RA is one that you should be looking as easy prey for anyone's legend, but that's what makes the best underdog stories in the LPL.
Yeah, and like we said, RA have a lot to come back from. They might be sitting at 13th in the standings, but actually the lowest game win rate in the LPL. Need to start getting wins on the board, and it all has to start here in this game, too, against anyone's legend.
And it all comes off the back of that focus in the jungle. Croco has been a wonder star for anyone's legend since he came in. The combo of him and Kael have been really good at leading the team's direction. We need that direction from Naiyou and from Rare Adam. In a league where rookies are beautifully showing up. Naiyou has been a little bit quiet. We'll see if he can come into game 2 with a roaring fashion as Shanghai comes to life. Game 2 starts off. Rare Adam on a comeback spree, potentially against anyone's legend. Let's see if they can just close the door on that right now. No!
RA!
He's gone! The guy is gone!
Yeah, if you are just tuning in and you missed game 1, there was an RA Gio guy, and T was going off.
There was like one other person that joined him. But unfortunately, not a lot of RA fans in the Shanghai arena today. A lot of AL fans here to see if they can continue their spree. Called them, eating things from the inside out in terms of the sandwich of the LPL. They are the middle of the pack killers, and this would be a bottom of the pack team kill, it feels like.
And, that's why I thought RA had a semblance of a chance, because I feel like AL actually does look better against their peers than they have against teams lower in the standings. One of their losses, again, getting 2-0'd by EDG and going to 3 games against some of their other counterparts.
See this laning phase be a big focus for us in terms of how the stacking is going for Hope. I had a beautiful entrance into the Smolder of the league because first game of Smolder I got to cast in LPL was Elk getting his stacks at like 1947 or something like that in his game. I don't think we're going to get that this time around, but we'll see how that consistency lies for anyone's legend as RA get level 2 in bot lane first and using it nicely.
Yeah, and to kind of go back to your point about RA needing to do well in this lane to shut down AL and shut down Hope. I mean, Smolder's 9-2 so far in the league. Like, he is having a really good debut.
What a cute little dragon.
I think it was Kelsey who said, who tweeted, whether you think Senna's OP or Smolder's OP, I know if you watch LCK or LPL. And, I also know which one is OP depending on if you watch LPL.
I do too. And Smolder.
Yeah. That's why Naiyou.
So this is something I like, taking advantage of something that Croco did last game. The Naiyou going for the aggression on him will force the flash out of the Jax.
Great job. Just, like you said, taking a page out of AL's book in terms of playing with the bot lane prio in game 1, doing exactly that in this game 2.
They are going to get that blue buff, so a little rinse and repeat from game number 1, but with different name tags. We'll actually continue here as you had the reset come through from Croco after he burned the flash. He'll go towards the top side, but presence is here for RA. And surrounding Hope and Kael is the important part.
Yeah, it's going to open up for Naiyou to be able to get this Scuttle Crab. Not a whole lot of opportunities there for Croco. I actually wonder if he just pivots into trying to gank top, because maybe he pokes at enemy jungle. We know there's no camps up. But Xiaoxu even has a ward. So even feeling pretty decent about potentially being able to escape, even if Croco did make his way up here.
There is a bit of a difference right now that actually is going to lead to Naiyou getting even further ahead as Croco not going to find anything on the other side. Throws up the rocket shark there, but the red side has just finished respawning for Naiyou, so he'll get even further ahead in the jungle matchup.
And that's why I assumed that Croco would have looked for a gank top or something. But just, waiting, hoping that Naiyou walks by. Is probably just going to move her to the ground once it comes up and be able to take away that one. But a lot of time spent. But hey, what else could you do? Zorah, though. Ooh. Heavy trade from AL.
This is good, though. Anytime you take trades like that in the Smolder, or like Smolder is trading, and you need to have a response on the back end because Smolder does not like extended trades. If he can get in, get some stacks, get out, that's the perfect living.
And, now to go to the opposite side, the perfect thing for RA is getting your jungle down, like we said, to allow this domination to keep going. Doesn't look like anything more will be allowed than them having the safety to push up and damage a turret. And Croco gonna make use of that, being able to pick up these scrubs, Counter-Strike, a great tool at being able to finish this off.
Can't believe we're already 3 episodes into Telecrevies of the day. This time, it's not going to be shared, though. I think we've gotten past that. The sharing is caring mark as Naiyou. Not going to be a part of it. Anyone's legend just getting all of the grubs. At least, oh no, he's not going to get through. maybe he does want to share.
I think it makes sense, right? You've already gotten 2. You've already gotten the bonus by finishing your first one and trying to find avenues back into the game, because with the counter jungling, Naiyou is ahead in experience, like we could see. So I think Croco just starting to move over to his camps, which are starting to come up, I think was a good idea by him. Now looking. I think both of us expected not a ton of action in the series. How you been wondering, like, hey, Luke, don't expect too much aggression. Be ready for these teams to be a slow burn, build up their advantages. But I do gotta say, I did expect potentially a bit more, especially in this game, if you're gonna want to shut this Smolder out. Yeah. We haven't really seen any team able to completely bully out the slang, dive it, do any sorts of those shenanigans that much just yet.
That's the hardest thing, is we just haven't really seen a big answer. Shanks is gonna burn his flash in mid lane. Nice little movement from Naiyou and Vicla, but we did see an attempt at something from RA, and it was that early gank. Naiyou got a little bit for himself there, but it's really about using, like, if a kill goes down there, things like that, RA would be off to the races here, being able to put a little bit more pressure, things like that. But when you miss those little moments, it compiles as time moves on.
Now, you know what else pauses as time moves on? Dragons.
No way.
Is AL just going to give this one up for free? Yes, they are. So, first dragon. Rare. Adam. I don't know why I made that more dramatic than it needed to be, but, it felt like right now we're hitting the part of the story that we're writing, and there needs to be some drama. There needs to be some intensity. And, we need to find ways to deliver that. Oh, look at that minion going down. 21 gold.
Hey, have you ever thought about being a play-by-play?
I have, and I think I'd be terrible at it, and I've done it a few times, but I would love to do it because, as long as people are like, hey, Lyric's bad at that, and he knows, I could say a lot of funny things, and people would just let me because it'd be like, oh, he knows he's not doing well at this.
True.
Me and Dagda had an absolutely legendary cast.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
I think it was in NEST or Demacia. It was a good time.
Unfortunately, I don't have enough of a brain to replace you, so I think we would be lacking in that regard. We have too many play-by-plays in the kitchen here.
Maybe that's actually past splits. Maybe that would be all we needed. This split, I guess you're right though. Not as high up on the prios of either of these teams. Sorry, myself. They're not thinking of you.
Naiyou, he snuck around the vision. See if he can make a play onto Hery here. Hery does still have Flash and World Ender available. Xiaoxu trying to be a nice little juicy bait if he's going to pull the trigger. Waiting. Here it goes. He knows there's problems, and he pops that World Ender. Nice little flash there to get some healing from the Q sweet spot. He's going to play some Alco Gaming here, but he is going to go down. Those wings will be clipped, and RA get first blood.
You find the first. We have Croco up here now. Is going to just have to default probably to just catching this wave. And RA pushes out. Oh, does he wait for the reset? Okay, no. So yeah, doesn't get cheeky with it. Does just wait to be able to help hold this wave. And friendship is right in the world.
He doesn't have
It's okay. Still being a good friend to his teammates, and that's why we highlight Croco. If above anything else, he's a good homie.
He actually saved it, so hey, it all works out in the end, at least a little bit. A couple of those are going to take some damage, but we are getting close to those first item spikes for a majority of members. I saw Xiaoxu just picked up his frozen gauntlets, as I do want to take a look at what those first item spikes do mean. I think it also leads to maybe an uptick for RA.
I think it's going to take a bit more, right? Because we haven't seen them playing a lot around Xiaoxu or that lane so far. One gank up to that side is... Oh, I need to pause. It seems like AL very aware of the shenaniganery going down. Now, I mean, having full information, it looks like both teams ready and willing to fight.
Kael just goes right in. He's not even level 6 yet. Zorah does have that on top of him. Look at this angle he's setting up for the hostile takeover. There's now a lot of CC onto Hope. He will have to flash his way out. Vicla also going to burn his, as we have a lot of summoner spells burned on both sides, but RA are turning to run away.
The pressure that is brought by Hery just walking all the way down from top. This is going to give Xiaoxu some time with that top lane turret, so it looks like he's going to be able to guarantee himself a plate. But buff not stolen. So at the end of the day, AL do buy time, but it looks like we might not be done just yet.
said we need to focus bot lane. Well, it looks like they might be doing just that. Xiaoxu able to proxy farm that wave. Gets a couple plates up there as well. Not a lot of plates taken across the map so far, but RA utilizing this pressure in bot lane really well.
Ooh, Croco's going to have to be incredibly careful.
We might just get this. Okay. Not going to get any more aggression from RA there. Thought with flash is available, you can secure the kill. But everything's good. Everything's okay. We recircle back on the map. There is still the Grubbies episode 2 on the table, but Dragon is also coming up in less than a minute.
And, right, you asked before about what first items can mean, and now, with Grubs being up, Xiaoxu having that Iceborne Gauntlet, I think that's where RA really can take advantage of this, making your way up now, potentially looking for that 2v2 or 3v3 towards top side, and you'll be in a great position.
Ooh, the all-out. Not actually going to go all the way through the wall there, but TP is coming out, and that will be from anyone's legend. Hery just trying to survive. Can't do it, though, and Xiaoxu gets the solo bolo. Now he can't get that Q3, and he's trying to just buy some time here. Gets another Q3. He's going in. He's still doing Cassante things. No matter all the nerfs, he will just get auto-attacked to death, and Shanks claims the side kill. Meanwhile, mid lane, at the base, there is Kael getting soloed out by Vicla and Naiyou.
So teams trading back and forth. Overall, I'd say a slight win for RA in the sense that you also got a TP out of it on top of your kill, and you're pushing in bot lane. It looked like potentially bullying out the Smolder. So small win, but both teams finding success on different places of the map.
RA gonna be happy that Naiyou has 2 kills now. Also gonna get more grubs. Should make all 4 of them there for the squad. A couple more plates going down too. And RA are playing to their win condition here. They're trying to get advantages before the Smolder comes online. Won't get all 4 in the end. Is pressured by Hery.
I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it wouldn't make the biggest difference. It would be nice to get that little bit of experience to gold under there. But neither team being able to reach the prolific mites. Because we're going to see exactly what went down here in top side. Xiaoxu, remember, has an item advantage at this point. Has the Iceborne Gauntlet. Hery's only sitting on some components, so he feels confident in being able to run him down. And so much damage. Connects every Q3 that hits in this circumstance. And I was a bit surprised. For a second, I actually thought he might be able to find Shanks too with the amount of damage he was putting off, but sadly, it just wasn't there.
He just runs out of all the sustain. Unfortunately, not going to have that same craziness. Then we move to mid lane where Kael just gets completely caught by a forward-moving RA.
I mean, even coming into that one a little bit late, but Xin Zhao being right on top of him, what are you going to be able to do, Kael? Is going to lead to a second Drake for RA. So RA doing a nice job picking up objectives pretty much everywhere, finding success so far. A 2K gold lead, 13 minutes isn't huge, but it's huge for Rare Adam.
It is, and that's something else to kind of take into perspective, is this is a team who has been down and out way more often than not. Mom is called from anyone's legend. It will clear the wave and force them off, but this is a prime position for RA to start that little comeback we were talking about against a AL who absolutely steamrolled them in game number 1. But we might have just caster cursed them, as Croco is going to tank that hostile takeover. Spiraling Despair also utilized by Vicla, who's just trying to use all the spacing. Beautiful hook from Kael, and even with that Crescent Guard, he's going to get bailed out, but is it enough? Not enough this time. 450 smackaroos to Shanks. It is traded back in the end.
Yeah, I mean, needing to go in that ult to be able to find the damage to get the kill ends up leading to a 1-for-1. It looks like we're finally getting closer to the point where AL are getting more comfortable looking for those fights. Makes sense. Hope now having that Essence Reaver. Now getting to see 81 stacks as of now at the 14-minute mark.
Not that many, actually.
No, not doing a tremendous job. I feel like a lot of times we see Smolder pick, though, it has been going up against a melee support, too, for an easier access at stacks. As we see here, right, the hostile takeover does a great job at denying Croco from walking forward, or Naiyou would have already been dead. But the hook from Kael sets up for the kill to be followed up on. But with the Crescent Guard, it's like, Shanks gets jumped on himself. And the hostile takeover, if that kill would have came through, would have been so sad for AL, but luckily you do end up getting the 1-for-1.
And I think the conversation back to the bot lane and why maybe Hope is a little bit behind the ball, at least right now, is that Varus does provide a lot of pressure in lane, and we saw them playing up, playing aggressively, denying a lot of those easy stacks from the Smolder in lane itself. And now you really have to look for Hope to be stacking in team fights, hopefully getting a lot of those angles to allow multi-choose and things like that. But that leads to RA having the advantage on the map and continuing to push the pressure as we see them move to the Rift Herald here.
This is where Hope needs to learn the secret tech of just constantly telling your teammates to fight so he could get stacks. It's like, whoa, guys, aren't we going to lose and all die and kind of run it down? Yes, but the Smolder will be getting the stacks.
Or you just fight until you're almost dead and then run away. Just
Yeah.
way easier said than done.
Exactly. That one is very hard, especially, again, Hui range, Varus range, like the tools to turn around with hostile takeover. I think expecting to live would be incredibly arrogant. And there's no room for arrogance here on Summoner's Rift.
You're so serious. We're getting close to the big AoE, at least the longer distance AoE for Hope as well at that one. And that can be an uptick in pressure for anyone's legend, but I love where we're at for RA. In a season where not a lot of things have gone right, they honed in from that first game, got a little bit more, I feel like, sustainability from the jungle matchup in these team fights, and Naiyou has been able to flex towards that very well.
And they have a very straightforward team composition, so I'm not too worried in terms of them knowing how to play out fights as the game goes on, right? Like, you have POs to tool and zone with the Renata, you have the ability to engage coming out from your top in jungle, you have long-range damage, you have consistent DPS coming from the on-hit Varus. Like, really, RA's 5 champions together just provides them with a bit of everything when it comes to team fights. So I think for AL, like, we're going to see them constantly looking to exploit advantages, like when we saw them engaging before when RA were looking for vision. But maybe even needing to lean a little bit on some mistakes to come out for RA.
A lot of blue pings from RA towards the Dragon Pit here. They want to secure their soul point in about a minute's time. They did lose that Scuttle Crab, but it'll be gone by the time the objective spawns, and they just want to get priority heal.
Priority they do have is... I love how we have to keep coming back to top lane because both these guys have been looking for the all-in so consistently. With the Profane Hydra, we can see Hery finally able to take some of these trades, unlike before.
The animation is just so cool. I love it so much. So RA, they're just lying in wait. They realize they can have some serious pick potential. They might have put on their dragon hunting boots, as they are waiting for a transition of hope towards this Dragon Pit if AL are going to contest. Kael gets stopped on his back. We have a massive flank right now from Croco. He might be spotted out if he walks into that bush.
And this flank could be huge, right? If he finds his way onto Assum and Vicla, that will change it. But the ward there is going to mean a significant amount. Now Herald taking turrets, only more pressure for RA.
Oh, massive shockwave from Shanks, just half health Vicla. And we'll lose a lot of their health bars going into this fight. Croco is finally spotted out, and look at RA. You could see the fear in their eyes as soon as they saw Croco back there, stepping back a little bit. But anyone's legend, they have the dragon started. Gonna belay pressure from that onto RA, who just want to try to poke and prod before they take the fight.
I think they can't now, with Hery and Croco both threatening that flank. Croco backing off now. But Vicla being so low makes this threat so dangerous.
And this kind of fight is perfect for Hope. He's just gathering little stacks here and there. He's using the time. Sustained fights are where you want to be. Croco goes in. The sustained fight no longer. As Mom called, but Hope might not have had the damage there. Dragon is the focus right now for anyone's legend to deny the stacking. But Hery, he's against the wall there, but the hostile takeover, it might not have been enough. You've got Assum, who gets flashed on there by Croco. They're on to the back line here too, and Hope is the only one left in a dashing, fleeting version of it. As anyone's legend lose out, they do take the dragon.
Do manage to get that, but Hope is getting hunted down right now by Naiyou. Actually doing a nice job of being able to sidestep and dodge this one for now, but you're going to expect... Mazel, there's no way he gets away, is there?
They have to realize that they could just collapse on it. I think now they do. Hope's just going to try to stack up a little bit more, as they will get the kill to Assum.
So overall, great fight by RA. This is going to cement them. 4,000. I guess 3,000 gold is right about that 33k mark. But what a turnaround for RA. Now Assum gets his hands on the Ginsus, Kaenic, Rooker for Xiaoxu, so he's only going to be harder to deal with for Shanks. And just really nice and really unexpected to see from RA in game 2.
It's feeling really good for RA as the bounce back from a devastating game number 1 is exactly the recipe for disaster for anyone's Legends' hopes of sustaining the top spots here in the LPL. And I think RA winning would be absolutely massive for them, as we talked so much about their stats and things, the things that have gone wrong this split. But right now, the things that are going right is across the board for them. It feels like everyone has showed up for this second game, and they've tweaked that game 1 composition to better suit their strengths.
Yeah, I feel like Naiyou and Xiaoxu especially much better showing. Xiaoxu now looks like he's in a position where he can just take over and carry this game. He's a full item up over Hery, and no one's really going to be able to put off any damage onto him just yet.
So the conversation then becomes, yes, RA have been getting wins, getting advantages. The 3K in the lead, it's pretty good for RA, so to speak. But anyone's Legend are still a team that find themselves scrapping out wins a lot more times than I think maybe they would want to. And I think that shows that anyone's Legend still has the possibility with this composition and the Smolder still stacking to be a force in this game.
And the fact that they're even still looking for opportunities, as we just highlighted over, right? We had 3 members of AL hovering up towards that top side. So they were trying to look for a pick with Kael and Croco and Shanks if someone walked forward. So I like that they're consistently looking for these opportunities, even though they're down. It doesn't feel that they're at like a significant, like, hey, this game is over. RA, definitely in the driver's seat. We'll see if they can keep up the momentum. Doing a nice job now as well, hovering to enable Vicla to go for this push. Reading the counterplay that AL want to make is quite good.
What kind of car does RA drive?
I wouldn't even, I want to say they drive a bus. I don't know why, but I've always wanted a bus.
All right,
so I want RA to have
bus.
a bus just like me.
Cross-country travel for RA for sure in the big bus.
Exactly. It needs to be like one of those ones that you turn into a home and is super posh. And you're like, whoa, like,
wait,
why did you do this? Where'd you get it?
But is it like a school bus that you turn into, or is it like a full-on RV that you like buy that's already like furnished?
No. We're saying they bought like a Greyhound and turned it into
so like the middle ground. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't really know why you asked and why I answered. So
because you said they were driving. They're in the driver's seat. So I was just wondering what kind of car they were driving.
I brought this on myself.
You did. You always do, my friend. You always do. But as we get to it now, Hope at 181, getting close to that mark. Definitely going to be pretty far behind the curve, but is going to arrive there nonetheless, and it immediately turns the power of AL to an 11.
Yeah, that's what we need to see, right? 186. We're waiting for 225. So he's still pretty far, but, it's
one
at least...
fight, right?
Yeah, we're getting there. One big fight, a few more minions, and he will be on his way. It feels like we pretty consistently see Smolder hit that number in the middle of the big fight. So I like that for now. They're kind of just keeping a defensive formation. You could look at their wards on the mini-map, very defensive, keeping that vision line up across the whole map just to see if anyone from RA is poking or prodding into their own jungle, because they know that's the name of the game for now. They don't even have to worry about Soul anytime soon, considering the AL have been able to get a dragon.
And that's why they committed so hard for that, because you just put a wrench into all the plans of RA here. And now that you're getting to a point, I do want to turn the conversation to RA. Do you have to change your game style, change your game plan once AL hit their win conditions in those stacking points?
Yeah, and that's why, let's think of game 1, where AL were so decisive about just pulling the trigger on attempting that Baron. That's something I feel like so many of the good teams do just so often and so casually, because it's like, worst case, we've wasted some time, but we've already stolen away jungle camps, done this or that, so we can look for those plays. So now we'll see if RA will be comfortable looking to them going forward. They will be on Soul Point now, but again, look, Shanks killing turrets, all of RA's farming. They're making their way towards their next item breakpoints.
Yeah, only about 2,000 gold down, even with a lot of the things that have gone right for RA, and that's still something to hold on to in a season that has been so rough for RA. When you get little conditions like this where you start seeing the little bright spots that spots that at least RA have, it's been really cool. But putting it all together, finding a win is the most important thing, and staying alive in this series at least. 25.5 minutes in, positioning around the Baron. don't think either team can really start this one up as Naiyou gets chunked.
It's crazy that we haven't seen like a big Nautilus Orianna combo, but Shanks has just been slapping with these solo ultis this game.
Showing the strength of the Orianna and why we've seen it kind of rubbing up in priority too. As Hope is at 217, my friend, as a little dragon in the journey coming together has ended up in an Elder Dragon being put on the Rift and not the objective.
So he's going to be able to hit that one, and that's
Should
when
get it
we
here.
know these fights should start turning their favor.
Oh, he's got to be one away. Just has to hit one ability.
Yeah, I mean, anytime a fight starts, you'll have it. So I think that this should count as having it. Maybe not for the official statistics, but for the state of this game. If a fight breaks out, he has it. So Hope
You
right
can
now is doing fine, sitting on the Zeal, hoping to make his way up towards that rapid fire.
So this is where I want to see a little bit of a hone in from RA. They need to find a way to single out Hope in these fights. They have tools to do so, but I need to see that hyper focus because the longer that Hope stays alive, the more detrimental to RA's win conditions.
I'm actually curious if it's going to matter just with how tanky Xiaoxu is. We're going to see how much that burn and that execute can do up against the superior front line.
They got a flank here. This is a bit of a good play for RA. They won't pull the trigger on it, realizing RA are missing a couple members. We're just getting some serious standoffs here between RA and AL.
And I'm scared. I think Xiaoxu actually might just be too tanky right now for the items that Hope has to deal with. And you got to remember, people like Assum, incredibly strong too with the Terminus right now, sitting at 3 items. It's Croco.
Naiyou! He's getting chunked, but here comes the safety brigade from RA. As they do make it both out, both junglers completely gone in their health bars, but still moving forward.
Croco and Shanks putting up the big damage in that play. I was scared that Naiyou was going to die so quickly for a second. It's like, wait, it's just one guy jumping on you, but Shanks, I think, putting up a lot of that damage himself.
Yeah.
More items coming out for AL, though. We have Rapid Fire and Banshees being completed.
And they are actually ahead of the curve in item completions, at least. Even while being behind, just because, you know, Xiaoxu is going for a little bit of the garage cell build to make sure get all those resists. And, you know, mid lane hasn't gone necessarily that great for Vicla, as Hope going for the one-on-one does have a lot of damage in his tank. More so putting pressure on the outer tower with Hery on the flank.
Even just getting more of those stacks, looking for these aggressive trades. So looking a lot more comfortable now. And everyone's watching thinking, all right, we've seen the standoffs. When is stuff going to happen? 1 minute and 25 seconds. AL gonna have to fight for that one. RA, I guess, theoretically can trade it, right? Can look to turn up towards the Baron. I don't know how confident I am that they could burn that before AL would be able to dissuade. But it's all going to be up to RA right now. They have control with the fact that they're sitting on those 3 dragons.
I want to see if Xiaoxu is going to be able to back and get a 3rd item before we get this little tussle going. I don't know if he's actually going to be able to, because we got about a minute till it spawns. You want to start moving pressure there and some vision, but RA going to follow AL as they position on the top side of the map.
Yeah, not even going to be able to finish off an item for the opposing side. Hery just went for a reset, only picking up Gax. So he's going to come in now, and both teams going to be fully postured around this Baron.
He did get that 3rd item, so the Jack Show completed for Xiaoxu.
So comes in even stronger. Again, to me, that's the question is, can Xiaoxu out-tank the amount of damage that Hope is putting off? Because RA might just be able to kill AL's frontline faster than AL can do themselves. A lot will be up to if Croco can potentially find himself a flank.
There's literally like a moonbeam spotlight on Hope right now, but maybe it should have been on Shanks as the shockwave comes through. They found a flank though. Xiaoxu, he has Kael. We need to get some damage on him. See, even with 1 Q though, that's a decent chunk on a man that has literally all tank items. As you can start seeing some of that infinite stacking for Hope coming online.
And even right now, Croco was just spotted out, so they know exactly where the Jax is. Now trying to battle your way in without 2 key ultimates on your side.
You got Hery on a deep flank, no vision. This is huge. This could be it for AL, but they get pounced on. Kael's already gone. They still have the flank available to them. Finally spotted out by that blue trinket. Xiaoxu's just running at people with that ghost pop, and Croco's gonna have to run away himself. Look at the engage on Hope. He flashes over the wall. Zorah's gonna pop that hostile takeover, and now things are getting a bit dicey. Hery's in the middle of it all, but gets all outed out of it into the pit. Croco's there. They want to get the dragon. It goes over to Croco, and he's out of the back of the pit. They'll give their lives, but they'll deny the soul.
So they buy more time for their side, but at the cost of most of their team. I'm a bit surprised Sorry aren't just running over to Baron right now, but I guess hoping they could have caught out some of these members in jungle as Naiyou's way around, health bars being too low. At the end of the day, we see RA get the kills, we see AL get the Drake, so I think both teams achieving their missions.
God, it's so scary, though. Even giving little inches over to anyone's legend here or there, you start wondering what is possible when some of this team fighting set, because that was a wonky fight. I'll give it that. It was all over the place, and I think in a front-to-back, it changes things a lot.
I feel like in a front-to-back, I would have felt even better for RA, honestly, because, man, Xiaoxu is not only not killable, he is doing massive damage if you're watching him in these fights, like the 1v1 season. It's actually crazy. We're going to see now, though, because they realize moving over towards the Baron. Again, this is one of the ways we're able to find a decisive win in game one. They were really smart, really fast at pulling this Baron and looking for the fight, and it looks like RA not going to be willing to do the same.
They thought about it. They were like, oh, is this a good idea, guys? Okay, we just lost the smite fight to Croco. Maybe we don't go for that. As a 50-50 could put AL back in the game. All right, moving back in position. They definitely want to force the hand of AL over here.
They're going to keep trying again and again. All of AL starting to make their way over. We're missing flashes on Shanks, on Hope, on these immobile carries.
They have a nice pincer here from AL, but look at the damage that can be put out on Kael. Hery around the other side hasn't been seen. They have the sandwich, goes in Croco. Mother! As now the damage for the Spiraling Despair pops onto Shanks, and they've got it. RA are starting to tick away as Croco and Hery are the frontliners now that need to defend for the little dragon, and Baron started up for RA again.
We're going to see what they can do. Hope is going to try and poke
huge.
them out with these Qs and Ws.
Hope is so big here, and he will continue to burn down the health bars. The Baron doesn't fall as easy here in Season 14. They're starting to get chunked. That Execute's starting to start coming alive. Xiaoxu, he's going right back in. He's going all out again, but he gets executed. And now Hope has to run away because RA have already taken the other front line, but he can't. He's just a little dragon, and he can't get another Execute off. And RA, they're doing it, Lyric.
RA right now are just too big. We saw, hey, even if you bring down Xiaoxu, you cannot take on the full squad. Vicla's dealing big damage right now. We have Assum finishing off a Jack show for himself. He's huge. And you have this front line. You have the zone control. Seriously, I really feel like we're just seeing RA having all the tools they need with their comp and utilizing them well.
Croco on the Jax has not been a stable force to find backline, to find any safety, at least for the AL comp, and RA have been taking full advantage of that when they can kind of pick apart the pieces so far. And Xiaoxu, or Godshu, I feel like at this point in the game, has been a monumental piece to the puzzle here so far. We are still in the moment thinking about how AL can fight back, but the lead is starting to get out in front of them. We have a minute and a half for another dragon.
I mean, now Assum's going to be kind of annoying to deal with, right? He has the Terminus, you know, the resistances he's getting from that. He has the Jack Show with, you know, the resistance he's getting from that. He now also has a Vampiric Scepter, so he's going to sustain. Like, this AD carry now is also actually going to be somewhat annoying to kill.
A lot of tankiness on the side of RA. AL just hoping to crack that armor a little bit. The siege does continue here with the Baron buff at about 1:25 on that left. Should be able to get a tier 2 here if they let it go.
I will say, for AL in terms of items, at least now we have the Leandries on Hope, which, you know, once you hit the 225, that's really where Leandries starts coming in clutch. Speaking of clutch, though, it's been Shanks with his ults being clutch for RA so far and making fights close. So maybe eyes need to be on him. Every time he's used that shockwave, he's almost blown up priority target.
Croco about to get blown up, though. Spiraling Despair is utilized. The pop not going to be enough, but the snipe from Assum!
Varus and Wei is honestly so annoying. Being able to finish him off from that range. Now with the Baroned up minions, they're going to keep looking for the siege as it's looking more and more doomed for AL.
Another tier 2 will go down. The redemption fuels the tanks of RA as they move over to the soul fight.
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't even be a fight, right? You just killed the enemy jungle. They're going to be able to get that one. We look at the minimap. AL know they can't stop this. So now with Baron in pocket, with Soul now picked up, Infernal Soul on top of that, it feels like it just doesn't matter anymore. This insurance policy that we've been waiting to see in the Smolder, RA just too strong.
No matter amount of items is really going to get you out of this hole. Feels like so many things are going right for RA as AL positioned to get a play. Will be spotted out in the end. Bit of movement from RA could actually catch AL out here. Shanks takes a decent chunk. AL back away.
Both these teams maybe not expecting to be in this position. 36 minutes into the game, RA up 17-7. Also, potentially could throw up the day's schedule. We are traveling throughout the arenas today in the LPL. So the fact that RA's brought us back, we'll see how it goes. Does this give them the confidence they need to just come in swinging in Game 3 Mazel?
I mean, hey, you win against Smolder. Maybe it does give you that confidence. A big, again, you had highlighted it, 9-2. A very strong pick being kind of put down here so far by the combined efforts of RA. And that's the other thing I love to highlight here is we focused on Naiyou, a little bit of consistency there, but it really has been a holistic team effort so far, led by Assum. But I think you can say that there's a lot of representation here from RA that I wouldn't see in the past.
I agree. I think this is one of the games where, like, a lot of their play, like, everyone, you can point at moments where they did well. Hell, I mean, I don't even know who they'll give MVP for after this game. Like, Vicla's been the one putting up, like, big numbers along with Assum. I feel like Xiaoxu and how tanky he got early on was honestly the big difference maker in terms of, like, a game point of view. But obviously what Naiyou did early, there's been really good hostile takeovers. So I'm interested to see if they win, assuming they can close it out, who will pick that one up. But if they don't win, that makes it even more interesting maybe, because it's like, hey, how would AL even come back from this deficit? 6K gold down against Infernal Soul? Show us, AL.
Speaking of assuming, Assum has completed a shield bow, so thought about being even more tanky and has realized said dream. As all you need to do is survive against a Smolder. Doesn't have much of a health bar, and that execute's harder to come by. There you go.
Especially at this point where you're already the team that's up so much as Croco. Actually on the right side of the brush.
Cool
to dodge out
as
all
a
the
legend.
damage.
Calm, cool, and collected. He's just chilling. As actually reset from Shanks coming through. He will have TP back. Hope is in a of a predicament. Does use the flat to get out. And calm on the rift while Croco goes for at least a flank, I think.
Ooh, I wonder how aware of this they're going to be.
They're so
I feel
tanky, though.
Yeah, you're right, actually. Even if a flank comes off onto the Varus, I don't think it matters. And Assum has both sums up. So has a lot of mobility to be able to dance around in these fights.
Oh, they knew because Croco stepped over the ward right there. The hayshake comes through, and another time the flash comes out. RA don't have the chase down and don't have the arrow, but that is the jungler out of commission, so Baron started.
Gonna see even Croco sticking
He has to
around,
stay.
so they're gonna go for the contest.
Baron already going down about half health. They got to find a way in around the side. Hope trying to get some poke in now, but look, he does no damage. Mob comes out, but it is going to be secured by Naiyou. And Croco looking to go over the wall with the counter-strike, but nobody can follow him up. He goes in, hostile takeover comes back, and RA are looking for it. They find blood, and they find it all over AL as they're running. AL try to get out with their lives while the Baron is already gone. The health bar is starting to hurt a little bit, and Hope putting back some hurt onto RA, but they get out with the Baron again.
Yeah, RA managed to get out. They get 2 kills, and hell, they're doing more than getting out. Looks like they should even be able to take a turret in top side, TPing Vicla in.
Assum just has full health again because of this build, and oh my goodness, they take those towers so fast. That'll be a tier 2, followed up by an inhib turret here, unless AL have a chance.
Xiaoxu also TP'd into the mid lane, so he's not that far behind. He's making his way over now while pushing that lane in, and they just take turrets so fast and have so much damage.
Hope's about to get Mom back. They are so close to the execute, but that's the thing about Smolder is it's so baiting. You want to get the execute so badly, but you just can't follow it up most of the time, or you're just going to give yourself over. As Mom did get called, nothing else came over of it. The defense lives for a little while longer.
And I know I've said it a million times, but I feel like the last fight was just another example of where we had a very clear example of Hope putting damage onto Xiaoxu for free, like he's going to be doing right here, and it really doesn't mean anything. Which, it just means, like, hey, how do you really look for these fights? Croco, hoping to take advantage of his own window. He was already low, kind of just ran in, giving his own life over for RA to keep up with the destruction. Now, we see how the kills happen. I want to see what's happening on our screens. Naiyou's hunting.
30 seconds for an Elder Dragon and not the Smolder. RA positioning well in front of this objective because this could be the nail in the coffin for AL in game 2.
No vision. RA completely shutting them out. Again, 19-7. We expect RA to just be able to close this one out. But if some kind of flop, if some kind of mistake happens around the Elder, the situation may come up where AL can turn it around.
Croco's been caught a couple times in key moments, though. Got to be careful of those slip-ups, because now RA are on one win, I guess, away in a team fight from closing out the game. Not much defense left for RA, or at least for AL, and for RA to burn through. Elder is up, so positioning is key here.
And still just doing a nice job of shutting them out with things like the handshake. Q coming out from, ooh, engage. Comes out. Kael needs to be careful. He is not that tanky.
Trying to test the waters a little bit. No big ultis used. Everything's still available. Hope needs to get in position for a call to the parentals. And Hery, he has a flank. He'll be spotted out. Elder's already going down, though, and AL need to make a move. They need to pounce. They're trying to get this Elder in their pockets, but RA, that's going to be Mother called, and the hostile takeover in response. Look at the back line, though. They are focused on the Hery, as they do end up getting him. Now it's an easy front to back for RA. They secure the Elder Dragon, and they turn the flames right back on the Dragon of AL, as they clean house. The wings of the full-grown dragon have now taken to the backs of AL. And now, Croco, the final saving grace, is gone. You have the back from Shanks, but this is the signal of the end in a 3-game series for our first one.
RA bringing it back with a nice showing in this game. Again, like on the same page, a lot of members showing up and showing good performances. Xiaoxu, Vicla, Assum, all stepping up.
A giant team effort to come back from the grave of that game number 1, as they'll get a little bit extra here. Is the bird going to be enough from the Elder? It's the shield that saves them, and the Nexus goes down, meaning that RA have found a win. They put it together, and it means that AL now are struggling in finding a way to come back in game 3.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see AL bounce back. We said AL are kind of like the slayers of the other middle-of-the-pack teams. That does not carry over to the bottom of the pack, so RA doing a nice job taking advantage. It looked much better in this game too, Mazel.
Did indeed, getting a little bit more stability there for the squad, and Naiyou looking a lot better than that game number 1. We'll see what happens for